This is how to play Layla by Eric Clapton, the electric guitar original version. We have the unplugged version coming tomorrow. They're both in the same key, they both have the same chords for the verses, so for this one we're going to be mainly focusing on that opening riff. This is suitable for many beginners to improve a guitarist, but some things will get quite complicated, but I'll try and make this as accessible for everyone. Let's get straight in for a close-up. So the song begins with this famous riff, which largely uses hammer-ons. Now that riff is then echoed higher up the neck, so if we learn it here, we can transfer it higher, and this is quite easy for beginners to do, even at speed when you get used to the technique. So we pick the open A string, and then we'll use our first finger here as an example, as most people's first finger is stronger than the others. We're going to hammer on at the 3rd fret of that same string. So we pick the open string, hammer on with the first finger, and the idea of that hammer on is it sounds like we've picked the note, but we didn't have to pick it, so this enables us to play faster riffs much easier. Pick, hammer on. Do the exact same thing at string 4. Pick string 4, hammer on at 3rd fret. If we do those one after the other, pick, hammer, pick, hammer. Then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to pick string 4 and hammer on this time. This is a little bit trickier. We're going to hammer on string 5 at the 3rd fret. Now there's another thing that needs to happen there, which is we also need to mute string 4. We pick string 4, we hammer string 5, but because the underside of our finger is touching string 4, it mutes it. String 4 picked, hammer on at fret 5, and then the riff finishes just with the open string 4. Let me show you slowly in total. Now this is where it actually pays to fret your notes with a fairly flat first finger, so that when we hammer on a note, we're actually touching all the other strings and muting them to make sure we don't get other strings ringing out, those open strings ringing out. We don't want those other strings ringing out, we just want just those notes that I've dictated there. And this, as I say, is it's the easiest way to play very fast guitar. Hammer-ons and then working up to flick-offs as well. When you get that pattern and the flow between what the two hands are doing, the sync between the two hands, it starts to become fairly easy to get the higher level stuff going. Let's now look straight away at the higher riffs, so the main sort of guitar solo, the lead parts of this song, and then we'll learn all the chords to it too. So what we're going to do here, believe it or not, is actually the same thing, but rather than using the open strings, we're going to use our first finger, barring the thinnest two strings at 10th fret. This is the double dot, this is 12th fret, 11 and 10. Have the thumb over the top, and then we can have our fingers on this angle, which allows the 3rd finger to reach fairly easily to 13th fret. If you were playing this riff like this in the more classical or even shredder style, it's just not the technique to be using for this particular song, mainly because we have some string bending in it. This is a blues rock style where we're going to have flat first finger barring here and wrapped around the back of the neck, thumb creeping over the top and holding the guitar lightly but kind of like a clamp, kind of clamped here, so that the third finger is free to do some flick-ons, and the thumb and that first finger aren't really going to move for this little pattern here. And what we're going to play is the exact same riff that we played before, but picking this time string 2, hammering on, string 1, hammer on, and then the same pattern as before. Which in tab would look like 10 to 13, 10, 13, 10, 13, 10. Then we of course have the bends, which are going to start at 13th fret, which is going to be bent up by a full tone, so we need to support our bend. Keep that thumb over the top, put your middle finger and first finger behind those notes, and push up in standard string bending fashion. And that pitch should be to here, should be the sound of 15th fret. Really make sure it gets up there. Then we unbend, go to the middle finger where it already is at 12th fret, 13, and then 10. So we have these 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second time we play this, it's the same, but rather than bending up from 13, we do it from 15, whole bend, unbend, and then back to the same notes we played before from 12. First time, second time, and we're before the start of the bar here, so this last note actually happens on beat 1. So a count would be 2, 3. One more time. 2, 3. And when we come to the end of this riff, just before the chorus, the ending is just slightly different. It goes like this. It's just a quarter bend, so it sounds like the 14th fret. So we bend this up to the pitch of 14, and then we're into the verses section. What do we do when you get lonely? But before we get into the verses, let's just finish off that very introductory riff with the power chords and hammer-ons. So we did this right at the start of the video. That was the easy bit. This bit a little trickier. That's what we're going for now. So the hammer-on sequence that we did before, then straight away pick the D power chord, 5th fret root note on the 5th string. Slide down and pick 3rd fret, then to 1st fret. So that's a D5, C5, and a B flat. 1st fret, is a B flat. Then 2 notes, the open A string, and then also the 3rd fret of string 6. So we have this pattern. 3 power chords, 2 single notes. Open A, and then a G at 3rd fret. In total from the top. One more time. Keeping that little finger down there, so we're still kind of retaining a bit of that power chord shape. Then we slide back to a C power chord, starting at the 3rd fret, and then play 5 to 3 on the thickest string. Keep that little finger ringing out. Returning to the D5. So just from the power chords, 2, 3, 4. So you can see the pick in the same shot. Full thing. The next section we're going to look at is for the verses. The chords here are exactly the same as the chords for the acoustic version, though in the acoustic version, the tutorial that I'm teaching for that, I'm choosing to use more open chords, and in this one we're sticking to more bar chords and power chords. So the first chord is a C sharp minus 7. What do you do if you get lonely? So this is a C sharp bar, so this is at 4th fret, the root note is at string 5, we're using the A minor chord shape, but lifting off the little finger to make it a C sharp, so that's a root note, minor, we're using the minor shape, the 7th is without the little finger. Then all we have to do for the next chord is just move all of this up a string, really easy. What do you do if you get lonely? And then for the root notes on string 6, and we hit all 6 strings. What do you do if you get lonely? Back to the first chord, and then 3 power chords. C, D, and then E. What do you do if you get lonely? Nobody's waiting by your side. Hitting the 7th at the top if you want to be flashy, which is this shape. The strumming is much more complicated in this part, and I'd recommend down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. This is a 16th rhythm, so if this is too much for you, this strumming pattern, you want to research and look at some 16th strumming, which is taught in my strumming guitar course. And one more time, this particular pattern, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. There are other 16th patterns that would work, and it is varied somewhat, but that would sound like... And it's only when we hit those power chords that we go to a more, we just hit each one once. C, D, E. One more time, really slow, and 2, 3, 4. That last 7th chord is an option, really. It's just what I'm kind of getting from the record. Then we have 4 chords just to finish off the verse. We have an F sharp minor, which from doing my research, I've seen that Eric Clapton has often played it like this, so kind of the open chord version, where the first finger is at the 3rd string at the 2nd fret, 3rd and little finger where they would be for this F sharp kind of for an F sharp bar chord, and then the thumb comes over the top and either mutes or presses down that 2nd fret, and then you can even have the thinnest 2 strings ringing out. Rather than going for the F sharp bar, rather than having to bar. If you choose to do the bar chord, you can do it, it's up to you. Then we go for the B power chord. Same kind of shape. We just pulled it down a string. String 5, 4, and 3. E major chord. A chord played with the 1st finger, the 1 finger A major chord. One more time. You've been running high much too long. You know it's just your foolish pride. Then we're back into the verse. Keep that strumming pattern going that we were doing before. I can understand if that is a bit of a step up from the other things that we looked at in this tutorial. Everything there is covered in my Improver bar chords course, and anything that you struggle with the lead line and the lead solo is covered in my new electric guitar course, where we're going way more in depth than I can do on YouTube basically. So you can click the links to both of those items now, which should be on the screen. Please subscribe to my Andy Guitar YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in another one of my tutorials.